Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome back, and today we're going to be doing the next performance modification from my father's pickup truck. He has ordered a cold air intake from K&N. The kit he has ordered is number 57-3031-1, and this kit fits everything from an 01 to an 07 Silverado 2500 Classic and the 3500 body styles. It fits the 6.0 engine, and it also fits the 8.1 liter big block that they offered. So the kit comes with a variety of parts. It comes with everything from obviously the filter, which is a lot bigger than stock, so hopefully that adds a lot of performance gains. A very nice tube here. Now there's also a kit that K&N makes that actually has a chrome tube. The part number is a little bit different, but if you want to check that out, you can, because it would dress up your engine bay just a little bit. We also have all the hoses and accessories. We also have your mass airflow adapter, and this is made out of metal, so this is not plastic, so it is a very high quality kit. Another thing with K&N is that they also guarantee that you have horsepower gains. As you can see, it says it right here, and it says that they have been dyno tested and proves horsepower, and K&N also sends you a dyno sheet. So this says that at 4,894 RPMs for both of them, you will see a 20.34 horsepower increase and a 21.83 foot-pounds increase, which is actually very good for just bolting on a cold air intake system. And that dyno run was on a stock 2004 2500 6.0. So we're going to go over step by step, taking off the factory intake system and putting on this one, and let's get to it. Okay, so what we are looking at now is the stock intake system on the truck, and as you can see, intake box, mass airflow sensor, your intake tube, and then it bolts right over here onto your throttle body. So when you look here inside of the owner's, or the little pamphlet that come with the cold air intake, it says all you need is a flat blade screwdriver, a 4mm Allen wrench, and a 1/2-inch wrench. So we have all of those tools right here. And if you just follow the instructions step by step here, it'll tell you exactly to do, taking out the factory one, and we're going to put in the aftermarket one. So the first thing it says is obviously your safety features: turn off the ignition, disconnect the negative battery cable, and it does give a note of warning that it could erase stuff, so you got to be careful doing that as well. Then what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the mass airflow sensor connection. It's just this little connection right here that you pull, comes out, and then we're just going to loosen all the hose clamps right here and here from your mass airflow sensor. Just push this one this way, and you just pull this one out, and the tube should slide right out. And then after that, all you have to do is pull firmly upwards, and it just releases it off of the grommets that's on the bottom. So removing the stock intake system is actually very, very easy. So when removing the mass airflow sensor, you actually need a really small screwdriver, and all you have to do is put it underneath of the front of it here, and then there is a little plastic clip that you just release, and then it comes straight off. And as you can see right there, it is. All you got to do is push that tab forward, and then it will unhook right here from the mass airflow sensor. Alrighty, so we have the stock intake system out of the truck, and we pulled out the cold air intake system from K&N, and we laid it here side by side just so you can compare and see the differences. And the first thing you will notice right off the bat, obviously, is the filter difference. So the K&N uses conical style filter, which most aftermarket ones do, and then General Motors used a flat filter, but it is actually still a very, very thick filter and very nice. Another thing we noticed too is the amount of restriction pulling from the engine bay. So what you're looking at right here is what would be shoved back against the inner fender, and as you can see, it's just 2 holes that the air gets pulled through, which is very restrictive, especially at higher RPMs. So we can understand why a K&N cold air intake system like this, where it pulls air from all the ways around, from on top and on bottom, how it would be a lot more of performance gains just from a simple cold air intake system. So another thing that's different from GM and K&N is the heavy dust particle collector right here. At least that's what we believe it is. So it's a big plastic tube that actually hangs down from your intake, and then all the heavy dust particles that try to come in want to fall down into there instead of going into your engine bay. And K&N is just a straight through design from your mass airflow sensor right into your throttle body. No restriction at all. So As you're looking down into there, you will see the plate that the stock air intake system sets on. There is a series of bolts. You need to remove the two closest to the engine, because when you go to set the K&N heat shield down in there, you will use those same bolts to hold it down into the system. When removing the mass airflow sensor, there is a band, like a normal little band, that you just loosen and then it pulls right off. Now, in order to install into the K&N system, you do have to remove this rubber piece right here that the band actually sets on, because when you install it into the adapter, it'll use the bolt pattern on the back. But when you go to remove it, I would keep the rubber piece on, because of course these mass airflow sensors are delicate and I don't want to set it down on the ground with just that hitting onto it. So I'm just going to set it aside for now, and then we're going to assemble the K&N cold air intake system so it can accept the mass airflow sensor before we stick it into the truck. So K&N requires, and it actually is a lot easier if you assemble this outside of the truck before you put it in. So what you actually take is you take the heat shield, put the mass airflow sensor through, along with the mass airflow sensor adapter. There's two gaskets that go on either side, and then you just take the 3 Allen screws or bolts and you just put them through the back side here and screw it down into this, and just making sure that they're tight enough to where it doesn't move, and I would make sure that they're hand tight. And the mass airflow sensor, instead of being on top, it actually rotates to where it is on the back side, and there is a certain way the bolt pattern lines up, and that is the only way that it will fit into the truck. And then you just take the 10mm screws that you removed from your factory and just put them back in there, making sure they're tight. Now this here will be a little bit loose, pushing it back and forth, and that is so you can make adjustments later when you put the tube on there, because you may have to slide the shield either way to make a final adjustment. Alrighty, so we have officially finished the installation, and as you can see, it is a very clean finished product. So after you get done installing the heat shield with the mass airflow sensor, all you have to do is install the intake tube with the silicone hose up here to your throttle body, 2 hose clamps. Install this little hump hose here, 2 clamps on that, and then you just install the filter on with the big clamp that comes on the filter. So it's a very easy installation process. One thing we will say is that this K&N right here, this is actually one of the stickers that came inside the box, so all we did was stick that on there to give it a little bit of an advertisement look, make it look very clean and professional. And for any of you guys that are inside of carbon emission states where they actually check your intake system and your exhaust when you get inspected, K&N are 50 states legal. And then of course there's their ID number to let you know that it is 50 states legal. So just stick this right here inside of, or right here above your fan shroud, where it's easily seen by anybody who is inspecting it. So that way they know that it is legal and that they don't have to fail it for any reason, especially because of that. So we are overall very happy with it. We just wanted this product to give it a little bit of performance gains, a little bit of fuel economy. We're not planning on running the truck high RPMs and running the crap out of it. We just want a little bit extra horsepower when towing and on our long trips that we make across state lines and stuff. So thank you guys very much for viewing the video. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask down inside the comment section. Feel free to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one.